Hey everyone, welcome back to the Bird's Eye View. Today we're here, of course, with myself, Mr. Krow, 69 out here, and we've also got the War Duck,
Oh,
and we're out here having a good time as always. And we're today we decided we're going to talk a little bit about us, our introduction, kind of a little bit of an introduction to us and how we got started to be streamers and even interested in it. I'm going to kind of be interviewing Duck is what we're going to do. We're going to roll with that. It's an open conversation, open table. But the things that we'd like to talk about is how did we get into streaming? Like Duck, can you tell us a little bit of like
so
when did you decide YouTube? Sure.
so I've been a gamer my whole life. Like when I was a little kid, I had the Atari, which I still have. I went to the Commodore 64 and then the Nintendos and just kind of went from there. And then even out of high school, it was the PlayStation 2. And then the Nintendo 64. I remember because out of high school, I spent a couple years and then I went into the military. So we were over there when I was in the military at Fort Drum, New York, and there was 25 feet of snow outside. And that's not really a joke.
Oh dang.
That's not really a joke because I'm telling you, the second floor window in the barracks, you could open the window and step out onto the snowbank. That's how much flipping snow there was.
Oh wow.
So it was cold as hell and nobody wanted to go outside. So after morning PT and motor pool, right, everybody would go and hide in their barracks and we'd be playing Mario Kart tournaments. Right. So, or PlayStation. So basically I've been a gamer my whole life. And so the problem with that is nobody I know, nobody I grew up with plays games. And so I played games alone. And at some point that gets kind of boring. It's just playing a game by yourself. And it's like some of the games are just really good and you can kind of get away with that. But I started watching some YouTube videos, and then I started watching some streamers, and these two guys that I was watching a lot of were having just way too much fun with their community and way too much fun streaming. And I was like, I bet you I could do something similar to that and find some people that were like-minded or that I enjoyed gaming with and game with them and kind of have a small community that way. Because the guys that I were watching weren't big. They, maybe had like 10 people in their chat or whatever. And I was like, I could get there. And they're having so much fun interacting with chat and playing games and meeting those people through gaming and stuff. I was like, so that's basically, I was like, screw it, I'm making a YouTube page and here we go, and
nice.
Kind of went that way. What about you, Mr.
Krow? I got interested in it. I've been much like you, Duck. I've been into gaming since I was probably, at least that I know of, by 6. Atari 2600 is as long as I was able to hold that stick and one button. I've been going at it.
Remember that the hand burn from those games?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't have scars from that.
I played Pac-Man, and I think the name is called Berserk. I think that was on the 2600, and I would hold the grip and move things so much that I eventually got a little. What are the callus? A callus like right here. It was so bad. I played so much.
I always ended up with the controller, the plastic piece would come off, and then there's that hard circular plastic, and then like you're in the, oh my god, dude, it'd be like bleeding. I'd be, I need a bandage so I can play video games.
I've been playing video games for too long. But yeah, that's when I got started, and I have always looked into YouTube for tutorials, like how do I change the air filter in my car? How do I change the brakes in my car? Whatever it may be. And then my kids came along and they're like, oh man, I'm watching, I can't even name his name. They would be so mad that I couldn't name his name. Dan is what I'll say right there. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're just watching this guy play a game? And they're like, yeah, it's really fun. I'm like, okay. And so eventually, as I'm playing games with other people, and they're like, "Well, are you a streamer?" I'm like, "No, I don't know. No, I don't stream." And eventually, I just got into it, where I was like, "Okay, I can do this. I'll try to do this." Like, there's lots of people that I'm playing this video game with on the PlayStation now that think I'm a streamer, asking if I'm a streamer. So why not? Why not give it a shot? And let's see if we can build a little bit of a group where they can see my point of view. I'll be able to see theirs if they're streaming, and we can help each other out.
So you have a little bit different spin on your channel though, because you and Carl are kind of at some point partners or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure of your range, but you guys are like together in the channel where I'm as solo in the channel. So how did that part come about?
Um, Carl and I met actually in another YouTuber's world. Like, so we got started with 7 Days to Die on the PlayStation, and this other streamer asked us to go ahead and join in on his world. And so that's how Carl and I met. Was we went into this streamer's world. He was streaming and talking, and we just had directions of go over here and gather these kind of materials. And Carl and I just kind of did our own thing. And
So you
I
guys
say
actually
doing,
met in a community.
we met in a community, and then we started playing together off or outside of that community. And eventually he was all like, you know what, you should totally do it. You should make the tutorials, because I don't think people understand how to do this or that. Or and so I was like, yeah, I think it'd be really cool. And so yeah, we kind of, that's kind of how it got started. Was I think I even, my first video was a permadeath in playing in 7 Days to Die, and Carl was there, and he's like, I'm really liking this series, I'm looking forward to the next one. And so we knew each other, were introduced to each other through a community, started playing off stream, and then eventually he was like, yeah, let's do it, let's just start up and I'll be there for you, I can help you. And so that's how we got started. He's been there pretty much from day one.
So you started streaming on the PlayStation.
That's right.
So how did that come about? Like, what did you have? Just a PlayStation and the PlayStation mic, or what?
That is exactly like that. Talk about getting started on the bare minimums, right? Like, what kind of equipment do you need? I went into the settings on the PlayStation. I set up my YouTube account and I gave it permissions. And I was like, okay, start stream. And that's all I did. So what kind of mic? I even had the microphone that comes with, I don't even know if you got that, because you got the special editions, and I don't know if they come with it, but it was just a headset and a speaker, and it has this little mic. That's it. And that's how I got started.
So like I do play on PlayStation, but I don't know. I've never streamed from it. Can you stream to Twitch or only YouTube from it?
YouTube and Twitch.
YouTube and Twitch. So
Yep.
so if you're a console player, then for you, that's all you need is just a
That's all
PlayStation.
you need. It's just all you need. You just need an account and authorize that account and go. Yeah, getting
So
started is good.
so for me is I was playing a game on the PlayStation with a bunch of people, and they were just so much better than I was in every aspect, and I couldn't figure out how that was so much, like how they were so much better. And then they all started making fun of me because I was on the PlayStation and they were on PC, and that's basically was the thing where they were like, "Yeah, man, if you were on PC, you'd be so much better." And I was like, "How is that possible? It just doesn't seem like that would be that big a deal." And they're, "Oh no, it's a big deal." And I was like, "Okay." So my wife and I had each our own laptops, and so I played that game on my laptop and was like, I am so much flipping better. And I was like, this is ridiculous. And I was like, okay. So I started streaming off a laptop with OBS at some
Oh,
horrific
okay.
bit rates and some horrific quality.
So you basically took a leftover laptop and
Well,
made it
it
work.
wasn't leftover. It was like brand new at the time. Like it was
Okay.
brand new at the time.
But
But
not made for gaming.
no,
Or
definitely
at least
not made
gaming
for
in mind.
gaming, and
Did not
not
have
made for
gaming in
gaming.
mind.
And so the game quality was so low and then to try to stream it, and the stream was just so janky. I was like, I did it a few times, and I was like, okay, we're building the computer. And so I stopped streaming for, I don't know, like 6 months while I individually purchased individual parts as they came on sale to build a streaming PC. Like I built my PC to stream.
Okay.
And it took forever to build it because I'd never built a PC. I didn't really know
Okay.
what I was doing. Thank God for PC part picker, because otherwise this never would have freaking happened.
You would have got the wrong parts or the wrong.
Yeah, it was, and
This
so I
is
was
not
like,
compatible with
okay,
my
PC part
motherboard.
picker, this is what I want. Oh, that's too expensive. Let me put that in there. Okay, this is the budget that I can fit in. Here we go. And then I just watched as parts came on sale when they were near historic lows. I'd buy a piece, buy a piece, buy a piece. Which
Nice.
nowadays it's almost better to buy a already built PC per cost wise, because it's just the price of individual parts is so high right now, and the bulk rate that they're getting on discounts is better. But so I started on a crappy laptop. And then when it was just so bad, I was like, okay, I just need a PC. And so I spent a bunch of time building my PC. And then when I started, it was just the PC and this headset, the SteelSeries headset, because I had bought it anyway to play games with, not really thinking about the streaming aspect until later. I had this when I had my laptop, so it wasn't like it was a separate.
You didn't go way out. Okay.
Right. And in fact, with my laptop, I had actually plugged in I had actually bought my keyboard and mouse and plugged it into my laptop because I couldn't use the laptop keyboard. To play. It was just too much. So I started with that, just with OBS and my PC. And then the SteelSeries.
So did you start with any overlays or anything, or we're talking just OBS?
It was just OBS and just basic overlay.
Did you use a camera or anything?
No,
you did?
I didn't.
So you didn't even start with that either.
I didn't have a camera until I hit 400 subs on YouTube, which was quite a long time.
Okay.
So yeah, that it took a long time for me to get to camera. And then once I got a camera, a lot of things changed where it was way less, like people found me more easily. And then it was, I don't know, for some reason, once you get a camera, like I feel like your progression quickens because people can relate to you more. And that's a lot of what streaming is like. I think it's very rare that people watch you because of the game you're playing. They may find you because of the game you're playing, but I don't think that's why they continue to watch you.
I agree. I think you become relatable.
Right. And so but like you don't need anything to start streaming.
No.
You just need to start streaming. Like if that's what you want to do to stream, you just got to get started. And then once you get started, you can kind of figure out okay, maybe this isn't for me. Then you didn't spend a lot of money. Maybe it is for you and you want to upgrade, so you buy a better headset, or you decide that you actually want to get the camera rolling.
Yeah.
And you don't care that mom and dad are walking in the background or the kids are walking in the background. Because I tell you, the green screen, as much as I love it, it's a real pain in the butt.
I was going to say, mine is a love-hate relationship.
It very much is.
I love it because the output, it gives me what I'm looking for. You know, I play Dead by Daylight, and I don't want my white walls showing all over the place in the middle of this game, because I feel like I want the people to be there to see what as if they're playing the game too. And so I like to take that away. And
that's against a lot of streamers.
Yes.
Advice.
Oh yes.
Is there like,
I get
show people the room for a conversation and this, and I'm like, I don't like this big old block where you can't see what's happening.
Yeah.
And oftentimes in a game, somebody be like, "Can you move your camera? I can't see."
I was just gonna say, with games that you play, you have a HUD. You have a HUD in place. And where do you place it? On top of the map, on top of other players, on top of your ammo, and you can see it just fine, but they can't. And have
like
yes.
I can't, like when we played Wreckfest a lot, they're like, "I can't see the speedometer. Can you move your camera?" I'm like, okay. Hey, I can't see your stances and your ammo, your damage. Can you move this? I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I can't see the map. Yeah, I did that on purpose. I ain't moving that.
I'm not moving that one. I did that once. I've done that a couple times. But, yeah, you're like, yeah, I'm not showing you where I'm at on the map.
But you don't need a camera. You just need, you don't technically even need a mic, but definitely have a mic. You don't need one, but have one, because the whole point is the interaction. And if you're trying to play a game and type in chat, that's very difficult for somebody to want to stay.
Yeah,
because it's just very distracting.
Yeah, I agree.
And this is the entertainment, right? Instead of watching TV or watching a movie or doing something else, like, you're in a stream to be entertained and feel like you're a part of what's happening or whatever. And that's like, I think that was the hardest part for me to start streaming, is I'm not a real what are those outward bound people called? I don't know. Anyway, I'm much more introverted instead of extroverted. Extroverted.
Extroverted.
Extroverted.
Introvert. I don't know, but I know what you're trying to say.
One of those. I'm not.
You do. Everyone else out there is too.
One of those I'm not. And so one of the hardest things to get streaming was to talk, especially when you don't have anybody in there. When you're playing and it's just you.
Oh yeah.
To talk, and it was like, oh my god. Okay, so it's just narrate. Okay, guy, I'm gonna go over here and hope you don't see me. And it's just talk in the game, and that was like. And I know sometimes I'll get so into a game now, like, if people are, this is the harder part between Twitch and YouTube that I've always struggled with, is I felt like people talked a lot more originally in YouTube, and new people talk. And new people don't talk as much in Twitch. And so, like, I rely a lot on my old school community to talk, because otherwise I'll get into the game and forget that I'm supposed to be interacting with stuff. I'm just like,
Okay. I am the exact same way. Like, there are tons of people who go into Twitch and they just lurk, and they're like there for maybe 30 seconds to a minute. You'll get this notification, here they are, and you're like, oh cool, I got someone new, I hope they say hi. Because I think it's creepy where you're like, well, so and so, thank you for joining the chat today.
Tell people that.
I feel it's weird. I don't like it, but
and that's the thing, is like, I was just one of the people that I know in the community that has kind of started streaming again, as I was pop over and they're like, Zavordak has joined the chat, welcome Zavord. And I'm like, you gotta turn that off, man.
Yeah, but yeah, people on Twitch, they like to come in, they like to see if it's a right community. If they're there longer than a minute, there's a good chance that they're going to hang around, that they've felt something, that something's there, they're still investigating. Otherwise, they just bounce. YouTube, man, it just seemed like they're like, hey, how you doing? Oh, I've played this game before. I'm like, well, I hope you have. How did you find me if you haven't?
and then they leave. It's like,
and then they're like, well, it's good seeing you, we'll talk to you later.
So that's like, so you don't need anything to get started. I didn't have anything to get started, but like, I just didn't want to, I wanted to stream, and so like, it wasn't like I was just testing it out. So I was like, okay, I'm building the PC to stream purposely, and to get, and I kind of had a falling out with consoles with the PS4 originally, because I had a whole bunch of PS3 games I couldn't play on the PS4, and I had traded in my PS3 to the PS4 because they were having a deal, not knowing that I couldn't go back and play. So I kind of got butthurt about that, and was like, I'm going to PC.
Yeah.
And then bought a PS Pro later, so you know how that went.
Yeah. That's that's good. Yeah, I think I kind of got started mostly to try to get I wanted to be able to play games with people that we had. It was like getting your friends together again, right? I wanted to be able to get together with friends, not necessarily just to sit over my shoulder like we used to back in the day and watch people play. It was, let's do this together. I, like I said, I started playing 7 Days to Die, and that was the one where let's bring people in, let's do this, let's do that. And that's how I got started,
So,
or at least why I started building the
at
community.
what point did you upgrade to the capture card and
Oh,
the PC? Because I know that for a long time that's what you were using, a laptop and a capture card.
yes, and I still do. Well, not, I don't have a laptop anymore. I've actually got the streaming PC, much like how you've mentioned it. I've got a PC that's dedicated just for the streaming. I still have the capture card. Um, it's sad to say I've dumped a lot of money into this hobby.
Right. I know, me too. But at what point did you decide, okay, I'm getting a capture card?
I wanted to take the stream to the next level, right? I felt like the community had grown enough that I felt like I wanted to be able to do more for them. So that's when I bought the capture card to start streaming, or to pull the gaming experience off of the PlayStation and start giving back to the community better quality, and having more control on it, such as giving overlays and alerts and things like that. That's, I'm going to say it was probably about when I hit the 500 to 600 followers on YouTube. The community was built, it was established, and I felt like that was my next step, is to give better quality.
Okay, if you know everything you knew now, but you had never streamed before, how would you start now? Like if you were gonna start now, well, if knowing what you know, if you were gonna start now,
Yeah.
what would you do?
Um, I think I would still start the same way. The important thing to get go is to just get going, just to start. Start with what you have, and start getting the experience. I would still start with just signing up, or setting up my PlayStation to the YouTube. I would probably, I was going to say, if I was to invest in anything, I would have probably invested in a PlayStation camera a little bit sooner, because it has that built in as well, that you can at least have a little web camera as well. I know that people definitely, like you and I mentioned, they see a face, they can relate a little bit more. That would be about the only thing I would probably change. But other than that, I would have still just started from the PlayStation and just get going.
On
Find
YouTube?
out what people like. Um, Man, you had to bring up the YouTube. I think I would actually probably start on Twitch myself. I People know Twitch as live streaming, and so that's where I'd go.
See, I
It's
having started on YouTube and with that bad taste in my mouth of how YouTube I felt did me wrong.
Yes.
Um, I would start out on Twitch, but I would make the YouTube channel and just export my live streams there, just so there's something building on YouTube as for
Yes.
help with discoverability. Because one thing that YouTube has over Twitch and from the get go and still does is the discoverability. And the
Yes.
one thing I miss about YouTube versus Twitch is the fact that I had a guy that I gamed with, Adam, that he passed away, but all the streams that we ever did together are still there, and I can go back and listen to Adam's voice and laugh about the stuff we were laughing about, and still remember him, and still have something there that I can always refer back to and help keep his memory alive, kind of. Whereas Twitch, you have a temporary
Yeah.
base videos that kind of go away. You can upload stuff that stays there, I believe, but
Yeah, I've never done it though.
I don't really believe that people go and watch old videos on Twitch, and so it's
No.
other than just having a record of it, it is there, but like that's the one thing that I do miss about YouTube. So if I were to do it all over again, I would do the Twitch thing, but I would export because Twitch has an export button that
I was just gonna say too. Yeah, you have an
exports it
editor on Twitch.
right to YouTube. It just straight up uploads it to YouTube.
Nice.
And so I would do that to help the discoverability aspect of it. But kind of like what I've turned my YouTube channel in now is it's a place for uploaded videos and not streaming. I don't stream on YouTube anymore, just Twitch. But I do upload a video. I will export a video here or there up over there to see if people are interested in it. And if not, then I don't export the rest of them if not. But I do
Okay.
upload videos here or there, like this one or some like the girls or the twins or something like that if they're doing something funny or something like that.
I agree. Like that is one thing that I try to encourage people to do. I don't do it myself. I know I should if I wanted to be discovered more. After stream, just go into Twitch and they have a much like what Duck was saying, an export ability, but you can also go in there and edit it too. If you have like a highlight moment, just export that, upload it over there to YouTube, get discovered that way. It's
My whole video is a highlight moment. What are you talking about?
that's what I think too. I'm like, why do I want to edit this stuff?
Okay, so you're a streamer.
Yep.
What games do you like to stream versus what games do you play offline that you don't like to stream?
I like to stream games that I enjoy survival type games and I like streaming those kind of games. Things like 7 Days to Die, Stranded Deep, DayZ. Those were games that they're fairly large. They don't have. I think Conan Exiles was another one too. Like they kind of have a story, but really it's up to you. You can kind of do what you want. I like streaming those ones. What games do I enjoy playing offline? Because I don't want to. Worms. I enjoy playing Worms like crazy. I don't think I would ever stream it.
I tried to play that game. I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't even get started with it. I was like, I have no idea
Of
what's
that game.
happening. So I was like,
I know people stream. What's that one where you have all the controls or like something Fallout human fall flat. That's it. Yes.
Oh, yeah, we streamed that one a few times.
And what's the other one? The Beast or something like that. But I like to play those. I don't like streaming them because I'm such an idiot at them. And I know that's probably what people would want to be, but yeah, I don't like streaming those because I get so frustrated where I'm like, it's not doing what I want it to do.
I streamed Bennett Foddy for a little bit, and
Okay.
that was like straight up rage inducing. And like, luckily, like I've only broken my mouse one time. And luckily
That's
I wasn't
impressive.
streaming when I did it, but it was during I was showing my wife that game, and I was like, "Fuck!" And then I was like, "Uh-oh." and had to replace my SteelSeries mouse, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, we're not breaking that anymore. We're not doing that again." And
Yeah.
so, but like I like playing more realistic physics style combat games
Okay.
and great story games. And
I do like great story games.
like I've kind of run into this weird thing where I enjoy playing with the guys that I play with more than I enjoy a great story game. And the problem is a lot of those great story games are just single player.
Yeah.
And so I really run into this thing where I'm like, I would rather play a game with somebody than to play this great story game by itself. And I just wish developers, when they make these story games, would just add a way to add in a co-op sidekick or something. You know, I understand Red Dead Redemption is about this one dude, but that doesn't mean you can't have some sidekick dude ride along with you, you know,
Yeah.
and just I don't know. It seems there's so many characters in there, it wouldn't be that hard. Cause like even like Dying Light, which we just made a video about, right? Is
Yeah.
you can get in there and co-op. It's still the same dude. You're still
Yeah.
going through the storyline and stuff. And when the cutscenes, they're talking to you, right?
Yeah. They even changed the point of view. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's not like you couldn't do that. It's just
Yeah.
like they don't, and I think that's where like Fallout 76 really crapped. Is everybody thought finally we get a co-op Fallout, and they were like,
Mm.
no, this is multiplayer, but not
Yeah.
Fallout as you
Not
want
Fallout.
to play
Like,
Fallout. And that's where
yeah.
like it really tanked, is people are like, that's not what we asked for. If you would have just made Fallout 4 with a co-op, we'd have been all good. But instead you made this thing that nobody wants to play. And so that's what kind of where I struggle now, is like I don't know, I like to play games that like the combat games that aren't super super serious. Arma, you know, can get serious, but I don't play that way generally. And it's just funner with friends. Like it's just funner with friends most of the time. The
Yeah.
whole reason I started my community was to play games with friends. I don't want to play the solo games as much anymore. Now I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima, which is super good game, but I'm playing it on days where the guys I normally play with are doing work and doing other stuff, or after they go to bed or something. I'll get on and play my guilty pleasure or something like that. Now, games that I would rather play offline than stream, probably there's really only one right now, and that's Tarkov, Escape from Tarkov.
Okay.
Um,
Why would you play that offline? Because that's a pretty popular game too.
it is, but one aspect is I'm not very good at it as compared to a
Mm.
lot of the streamers. And the second part of that the reason I would almost rather play alone by myself is because that game to me takes 100% of your concentration.
You have to pay
You
attention.
have to
Yeah.
pay attention, and sound is such a giant factor in that game. And if
Okay.
you got this other stuff going on, you may have missed the guy walk up behind you or sneak around the corner or stuff like that. And where you can just be engrossed in that game. And to me, like I get so engrossed in that game that I know that I'm probably not talking to chat or something
That
like
makes
that.
sense.
Or
That
I'm
makes
like
sense.
super concentrating. And so I kind of would almost rather play that game offline sometimes. But for me, I don't have tons of time to game by itself. So I very rarely play. If I'm playing, I'm probably streaming regardless. And
Yeah. I'm kind of the
why
same
I
way.
do stream Tarkov is because it's like, okay, this is my free time, and this is the time I've also set aside for streaming. So guess what? We're gonna play Tarkov. We're gonna stream it.
That's kind of how I am too. If I'm playing, I'm typically streaming. There are times on the weekends, I don't stream Saturdays and Sundays. I'll play with friends, followers, like family is another one too. Like I goof off a lot with just mini G and stuff, but yeah, that's typically when I'm playing, I'm streaming.
Yeah. So I don't have a lot
That's
of
cool.
off game or off stream games that I'll just play. Unless I'm like
Nice.
testing something out on a game. I might play a game just to test something out. But not generally I'm not playing something.
Does gravity really work? Jumping off the
That's not what I meant. I meant it was more like is this game even freaking streamable? Can I even get it on here? Because I've had problems where like I can't get the game capture to capture the game. It just won't. And so I'll have to use like the screen capture.
Okay.
And then so like trying to test out how that affects the stream and stuff sometimes
See, that's
is something that I'll do, but
that's
like
things
I
I'm
said,
starting to look at too.
I very rarely play a game offline because I might
Nice.
as well just stream it.
Cool. Well, might as well just stream it. Might as well just get started. These are things that I'm hearing that we're telling people to do. Just get started. If you want to stream, do it. Just you don't need all the fancy equipment. You don't need to remodel your basement, knock out your house, and build a whole new studio.
Or build a giant PC.
You don't need to.
Because honestly, like I
going.
found like some of the Lenovo Think Centers with i7s on Craigslist for like 150 bucks.
Oh dang!
And you could stream from that easily.
That i7 would be fine. Yeah, that's.
They don't have the greatest graphics card, so depending on what game you play, but it would be enough to just get yourself started. And if you get that with a capture card, you know, a $60-$70 capture card, then you're streaming for under 300 bucks on a console.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take all that much. And then you have all the OBS and overlays and all that other stuff because OBS is free. Other than the time you have to dedicate to learn what to do with it,
and all the testing that you have to do to make sure your settings are working.
Then your internet,
yeah,
and then telling your kids or your mom or your wife not to stream when you're on the internet, which is why I have a separate internet line.
Yeah. Basically, Mom, Dad, you guys should go have a date night while I stream.
All right, that's awesome. Though, we're going to get out of here. Sorry for the weird cut in the middle there. I don't know what the power thing was, but catch you next time. Don't forget to leave a comment so we know what to talk about next time.
Yeah, what are you guys interested in?
Yeah, please let us know what we should talk about.
I mean, I'm interested in everything Duck, but I think he's bored of talking about himself now. Sounds good. We'll talk to you guys later. See ya.
All right, much love all.
Bye-bye.